Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up, but first our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We're looking at a high of 88, a low of 72, and the water temperature, we mentioned this yesterday, has plummeted down to 82 degrees. That's a big deal, so we'll keep posted on that. I'll try to do a little chart for you like we always do. River readings. Take a look at the river readings. The Apalachicola Bluntstown is hanging in there at a 0.7. It's really good and steady, but it's not moving up or down. The Choctaw at Carabelle, 2.4. Both rivers are low and look like they're going to continue to be low for quite some time now unless we get some of that rain, okay? Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Today's Wednesday, October the 5th, and we're looking at good tides today. We have a high tide right there at midnight and a low at 10:05 this morning. So we got some good tidal movement in the morning. It's going to be dropping on out, then it's going to change. So this afternoon will be good also. So good job on that. So the marine forecast will be north-northeast, and it's going to be coming out of the north-northeast probably for the next 3 or 4 days. All right. Now I'm going to call sea quarters and I'll see what's going on down there. Okay, we're going to get a fishing report and also heard about a boat one missing or sinking.
Sea quarters.
Hey, good morning. This is Winston. How you doing this morning?
Doing fine, Winston.
Okay, look, I got some news coming in from down there. I want to try to get it straight, but first, let's get a fishing report. What were you telling about the grouper and all? What's going on down there?
Well, the gag grouper have been biting down here for the last couple of weeks. Seems that the magic depth is between 80 and 90 feet. Nobody's been catching any deeper than that, and these are 24-inch plus groupers, so we're glad to see that.
Yes.
The red grouper, they're in 100 to 120 feet of water, and the red grouper bite has been sparse, so not that you're going to catch a lot of them, but you can catch some. We're actually catching more gag grouper right now. Plenty of red snapper offshore, but inshore in state waters on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the rest of this month, you can keep red snapper, and we're having limits of red snapper come in from state waters. The trout bite has been excellent this week. Also, mangrove snapper, we had a 3-man limit come in yesterday. So the fish are biting down here in Winston. We just need some folks down here to catch them.
Oh, man, that's a fine report right there. I'm so glad to hear a good positive gag group report. It's been slow up this way, so that sounds good down there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, listen, what about, we're just getting sketchy information on a swimmer or diver or fisherman got in trouble? And what happened as far as you know?
Well, the gentleman that found the 2 occupants floating with an igloo ice chest were some people that spearfish out of Sea Quarters Marina here in Carabelle. That's about all the information I have. They'd been in the water for about 8 hours. They were out 23 miles. They didn't have life jackets. Luckily, they had a cooler that would float, or they wouldn't be with us today. Wow,
what a story. All right. Well, listen, that's some good stuff coming out of Sea Quarters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Winston. Y'all have a good day.
All right.
Y'all come see us.
All right, I will. I promise. All right, we'll see you later.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. I cannot imagine somebody being offshore without a life jacket, but that happened. We're just getting sketchy information on it, but luckily they're okay. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Okay, welcome back, and welcome always once a month to Captain Rick Corley. Good morning.
Good morning.
Always glad to have you sitting here talking about Carabelle and all what a unique area that is, and you were telling me an interesting story. Let's share that with them real quick.
Well, my great grandfather was the one of the founders of Carabelle. He started it. Of course, we used to have a Corley reunion down there quite a bit. Zeke Corley that was down there, but now he's gotten old enough. I think that's kind of fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
But all the Corleys down there are some kin to me. And of course, my mother. We was looking at your book there. My mother was a Bryan and a Ingram. And of course, you start looking through there, you see a lot of, connections.
folks, I get calls, not all the time, but I run into somebody on a regular basis, and that's had the book for a long time. They'll pick it up, pick it up, and say, Coach, I read the story the other day. I've read it 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
It's still fascinating. So I still do it too. But you're kin of several people in here over the years. So that's fascinating to know these stories and all, and what a unique area this is, especially the heritage as far as the early settlers when they came in and all, and the things they had to get over. I mean,
and people they really don't stop and think of what it took for our forefathers to develop this area. And right down, half a block from my house is the old stagecoach house, right there on Isabella, where they used to leave Dothan and come to Chipley, and then Chipley down through, and where the Bailey Bridge is, there used to be a ferry across there. And they would ferry the stagecoach across the bay, and then it would come from Lynn Haven on down into St. Andrews. That was the end point was in St. Andrews.
Yeah, and all communities throughout the Panhandle have some kind of historical association or group that's trying to preserve our heritage and all. I know up in Gaston County there's a West Gaston Historical Society. Yep. Down in Carabel there's one in St. Joe, Chipley. I was at one in Vernon, in Bonifay, Holmes County. I saw their little building and all. If you can, really try to, save your heritage.
History's fun, and there is a purpose for history that a lot of young people don't understand. They say, oh, well, who cares what happened in the past? Well, if you don't care, you're going to turn around and repeat it, and some of them you don't want to repeat. Some of them were mistakes, and you can learn if you study history. You can learn some of the things you don't want to do again.
Yeah, it's fascinating, ingenuity and the hard work and all that they went through. Of course, we don't ever go back, but it's always good to reflect back into the situation.
Think about it. I'm right at 72 now. I have seen pretty close to 90% of all man's inventions. When I started on the towboats, we didn't have a VHF radio. We didn't even have a single sideband. I had a searchlight, a horn, and a crazy deckhand. And we had an old 32-volt Lister generator. It wasn't even 110 like we got today. And you kept the window cracked so you could hear whistle signals on the river.
Yeah, that's right.
Even in the coldest day, you had to keep one window cracked where you could hear, because you didn't want to wind up somebody southbound and blow that long, and you come around and meet there in the bend. That'd be a bad place.
Yeah. And speaking of that, let me go and mention now what's on my mind. The Bay County Historical Society, I'll be speaking there in a couple of weeks on the history and heritage of our boat building, and also they're going to have a cartograph day, or cartograph weekend in a couple of weeks on a Saturday. I'll tell you more about it, but folks are bringing in from all over the country, bringing in some old cartograph boats that were built right here in Panama City.
Yep.
So some really good things coming up here locally. And on tomorrow's show, I'll have Mandy and Megan Miller. Of course, they're married now, but that's not their name. Mandy and Megan are coming on, and I really am excited about this because we're going to reflect back on our heritage. We're going to go back to George Davis, and that's their great granddaddy, and how they continue their family heritage. And we were talking about that before the show.
Yep.
Mandy and Megan.
Fantastic family.
Yep.
They really are.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back and talk about some things. Okay, welcome back here with Captain Rick Corley, and we're talking about mooring, and that's something near and dear to your heart because you put a lot of time and effort into this.
Oh yeah, back in 2005, I took my boat and I can't remember his name, but and I apologize for that. On the Channel 13, we went out in the bay and I filmed the whole thing of where these boats are just willy-nilly anchored, and nobody really maintained them or watching them or anything. And of course, we would wind up with several sunk. Gerald Nelson has gotten up, I don't know how many out of the bay up there, and done a good job of getting them out of the bay. Got all these derelicts up and out, and kind of cleaned the bay up, which kudos to him. But the problem is going to persist until I hate it because just a few percentage makes it bad on everybody else. But up in the northeast corridor and down in Key West, they had a problem, and it really escalated. And I was trying to make people aware that we could do it right here because there's nothing to stop it.
Right.
That they need a little bit. I hate government having to come in and do stuff, because if you don't do it right, it creates a problem. And I don't like solving a problem by creating another problem. But we do need some mooring fields, and it adds structure to how you're anchored and keeps boats from getting into each other, and it also is a good place to weather hurricanes if you do it right.
So what we're talking about, but just having a special area.
Yep, designated mooring areas. And then you don't have to run an anchor light.
That makes a lot of,
Yeah, because if it's a designated anchorage area, people are going, it's going to be shown on the chart, they don't have to run an anchor light in those mooring fields like that.
How would they pick those out? Would just get an area where not a lot of
Yeah,
traffic
basically it's you lay it out, because when you put in one of these helix moorings, it takes a certain area, and they ran out. They have a guideline that says you put the helix in, and you got a 1.5 times the depth of the water, and then a smaller chain at the depth of the water, and then you've got to have 2.5 times that from the buoy to the bow of your boat plus the length of your boat. So you can figure out how big area of swing that you can do, and the same thing on the others. That way the boats can never get together.
All right, good.
And they won't drag. A helix mooring will hold in a Category 3 hurricane.
So they keep, how much of a distance usually be between the boats? Just
Oh, you
according to what
don't,
size?
if you, yeah, according to what size, but if you do that right,
Yeah.
and you take into the consideration for stretch and things like that, the boats may not be but 10 foot apart when they're, close to each other. But the other thing is, you're not going to have one hanging this way and one hanging this way, because the wind and the current's
Whatever
going,
wind's gonna do it,
they're going to hold them apart.
And that's why they're doing a lot in South Florida and the Northeast and all
Up in the Northeast, they do it a lot because there's not a lot of places to put docks, so they have mooring fields. You get up in Maine especially.
Yeah.
You go up in those coves, you see, and they say, well, that's a pretty pattern they got. Well, there is, because they're putting them exactly.
They're not doing it for the postcard.
No, they're doing it for
Well,
safety.
those things are important, and like I say, you got your channel, and that's one thing. They're getting close to the channels at one time, and,
Yep.
and that's very dangerous.
Well, not only that, but I've seen boats here that, I showed them in this tape, and I've tried to find that disc I've got that I made. They had one boat anchored with 2 concrete blocks, and the next boat had broken loose from its moor and was tangled up in the anchor line, holding by its rudder. And nobody was worried about it. But the next storm, it was going to put it into the bridge right there on Masalina Bayou.
Yeah.
It,
So anyway, we got that coming. I know you started on it 10 years ago, but it's been gradual.
in 2009 they did a pilot program, and everybody thought I was trying to invent a job for me. I got a job. I don't need that.
You don't need
what I was
job.
trying to do was making them aware, and of course immediately they always interview the other side, and the ones that was getting the free anchorage didn't like it because they all of a sudden they were fixing to be affected by it. So
But it wasn't going to really cost me anything. All they had to do is just do it right. It wasn't going to cost them anything.
Yeah, well, you got to buy the
right
gear,
anchor,
right anchor and all, and they didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like I say, 3% makes it bad on the other 97%. It happens, but they're having a meeting. I think it's Thursday.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but I think it's Thursday. They're having a meeting. I don't know where. I just glanced at it in the paper, and I should have read it closer. That they're going to discuss it again. So maybe they're finally, but it's been 11 years, so it's about time.
All right. Well, keep that in mind and get posted. If you have a vested interest in that, go ahead and check it out and go ahead and let your voice be heard. But that's something, again, positive for the waterways. All right. I've got some pictures coming. Let's go ahead and take a break. I'm going to come back with some pictures. Okay, welcome back. See, we're Captain Rick Corley here, the final segment of Panhandle Outdoors. Appreciate your viewership. Let's look at our fishing game time for today. We're looking at 3:41 to 5:41 this morning. We just passed it, but this afternoon, 4:04 to 6:04 will be some ideal times, okay? So if you got some business, something want to sponsor those game times, let me know. We can put your little logo on there and we'll give these business times. Let's look at some pictures right here. All right, this is Amber. Amber Gray was our former Outdoor Air Club president. She and her boyfriend Harris Scruggs, and they went. Look at here. They went dove shooting, and they had a good afternoon of dove shooting. Amber and Harris, good job. Amber's always had that big old smile on her face, always happy. Look, we're talking about floundering yesterday. We're talking about trying to get the flounder off the gig. And this is a little homemade device. And this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday when I was telling you sometimes that gig really sticks into the flounder, and you got to, so you put the flounder underneath that, sort of pull the gig back up. You can see how that works. It's a homemade device, but it's very, very effective. So that's something you're going to need if you do a lot of floundering when trying to, because it's hard to get them off sometimes. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Good example there. John and Bob Boyce over here at Crooked Island Sound, they got that big old ray right there, but now look, they ended up with a good mess of fish. Check that out. They had a good supper. I believe that was over the weekend. Good job.
4 flounders.
Yeah.
And
good job there. Good food. I hear. Hey, Coach, this is Donald Copper. He said, I caught this snapper. And we're going to show the dog first. I'm going to read. Caught this snapper last weekend. It was the first drop on a near shore public number. Also caught and released 6 to 8 AJs. My lab is pretty good fishing buddy. If I could just teach him to work a sabiki rig. I love the show, Donald Copper. And here it is right here. Thanks, Donald, for sharing that. First stop on a public number. Now, who says not big fish on public numbers? Good job there. Okay, now let's go to, this is out at the pier. Bill Angevine said this. It's not a clear picture, but folks, that's jellyfish. Bill said he goes out there 200 days a year. That's the most jellyfish he's ever seen. Look at all those jellyfish there. I don't think you want to swim at the pier this weekend.
That's a cold winter coming.
And Tom Gurley is back with his pictures. Thank goodness, a red-bellied woodpecker from St. Joseph Peninsula State Park. Tom takes great pictures, and what a good shot. Thanks, Tom, for sharing that. He took a little vacation on us, and but he's back taking pictures now. All right, so that takes care of pictures. We were talking about this big storm coming in, Rick, and we've got a. I know it's not going to hit us, but man, it always makes us think about getting your boat ready, getting yourself ready, and all that every time we have a storm. So.
Well, it's like you were talking about going, possibly south. You might want to check that real close Tuesday afternoon before you go, because right now, this thing's got 145 mile an hour winds, and if it holds the categories they're saying, and the eye has broadened, it's 20 miles wide now. If it brushes the coast, that means 10 miles inland, you're going to have 145 mile an hour winds on the east coast over there. And
if you get a chance, go online to the space station and they got a video. I saw it last night. I may try to pull up and show you tomorrow. But it's got a shot from the space and on the top side of it, and how it's wound up and how tight that eye is. And that's when. And what a fascinating! You just watch it. It's like a 30-second loop. Really fascinating. That's on this International Space Station. Take a look at that. It really is.
Yeah, have a little respect and watch it. I don't think it's really going to affect us here that much. We might get a shower or two because of it, but if you're going over around Jacksonville, I'd hold off for a little while.
Yeah, and our winds for the next few days are going to be, of course, coming easterly, a little bit northeast because of that loop and all. So we're going to have some wind from it. So if you're going to plan anything, I really want to go offshore because they start building up.
Oh yeah.
And especially if you go offshore, I always have a life jacket. Not like these two. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they had life jackets in the boat. Something happened and it got away from them before they could get the life jackets. Surely they didn't go out there without one.
Well, Rick is our boat expert and comes in and knows more about boats than all of us combined. And what people don't realize how quick a boat can sink.
Well, not only that, but people have a tendency to think that's something that happens to somebody else. It won't happen to me.
Yeah.
And we have a thing. Everybody knows Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong at the worst possible time. Well, we had another saying. Murphy was an optimist going to sea.
Well, really, those things so fast. We've been out there before. I mean, when they get so big and all these, you start thinking of this.
Well, and when they get big, they will stack up, and you may have, for example, they'll call for 2 to 4s. Well, a lot of times you'll have 6-footers because a 2 and a 4 will get together, and every once in a while you'll have a couple of 4s get together, and you got an 8-footer that comes out of nowhere. That's called a rogue wave.
A rogue wave.
And that can get you.
Every time we go out, I get fascinated because every now and then, if it's rough, you're going to see that rogue wave.
About every 1,000 wave.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's roughly. There's no set rule for it, but about that.
And it's a mean one. It's a mean one because
all of a sudden it comes and you say, where did this come from?
Experience. I mean, if you experience and all, you pretty well know sort of be looking for it, and you sort of see it coming, and you'll holler at somebody else, you know. So we all know. But if you're not experienced, then that thing can sneak up on you.
Have you seen where they had on? I think it was on Discovery Channel. They showed the QE2 when it got hit by one.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they were out there in 20-foot seas, and all of a sudden here comes this thing nearly 60 foot high.
Wow.
And it was like, where did it come from? But you could see it coming, and they rode it out all right. But all of a sudden, you got a really big wave coming.
And at the point in time where you need to go and put your life jacket on in rough seas. A lot of time, you know, you say, well, I'm going to be okay.
Well, another thing, you're coming in, you're crossing the bar. You got to remember, when you're coming into jetties, that's where the water has a natural tendency to roll up, and water's viscous. It wants to do what the rest of it's doing. And so on the outside of each jetty, it's already breaking. So it has a tendency to start wanting to make them break there in the pass. Plus the outgoing tide will run under, and that really makes it want to break. So right there as you're coming through the jetties is be the roughest part. Sometimes if you got to turn around, don't turn around there. Go on out and turn around, and then you can come back in. But right there in the mouth of those jetties is where it'll be probably the roughest transit. So you want to put your life jacket on coming through there.
You know, we take pride in talking about real life situations here with real people doing. You know, we had the Miami Marlins baseball player that got killed in that wreck. That was on a boat. Then we had talked about yesterday about those two fishermen almost got in really serious trouble, caught in the mud on the big river in Chipola. Then today we're talking about these guys right off Carabel. This is, it's not make-believe stuff. This stuff really happens on a regular basis where you get in trouble.
Yep, and just a little bit of forethought, and you kind of play what if. What if this happens?
Yeah,
what do I've got to do? You got to remember all those requirements on a boat. This requirement is the minimum. Well, I'm worth more than that. I like me. I'm one of my favorite people, and it's like fire extinguishers. Well, a fire extinguisher to be UL approved has to last from the time you pull the trigger till it's empty, 14 seconds.
And check the date on yours today. Okay, we got to get out of here, Rick. Thank you so much, buddy. I always enjoy having Rick. Make sure you're watching the show tomorrow. Got a big show lined up the rest of the week. So you have a great day today. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.